The Ghost of Voiskovitsy, the true story of history's greatest tank ambush. On the 20th of August 1941, the suffocating summer heat south of Leningrad offered no comfort to the retreating Red Army. The German Army Group North was advancing like a blitzkrieg wildfire, rapidly closing in on the strategic crossroads of Krasnogvardeysk, modern-day Gachina. If this vital hub fell, the back door to Leningrad would be thrown wide open. In this hour of desperation, a blunt, borderline suicidal order was handed down to Senior Lieutenant Zinoviy Kolobanov: hold the Voiskovitsy crossroads at all costs. The trap is set. Kolobanov's company possessed 5 KV-1 heavy tanks, 4 5-ton steel monsters that the Germans, in sheer frustration, nicknamed the Giant. Understanding that a head-on battle against an entire armored division was a fool's errand, Kolobanov chose brains over numbers. He deployed 4 of his tanks to cover secondary approach roads, choosing to face the main spearhead of the German 8th Panzer Division entirely alone in his KV-1, serial number 864. He chose his ambush site masterfully, a naturally sunken clearing off the road, flanked by treacherous, boggy marshes. Kolobanov dug his tank into a concealed, hull-down position, leaving only his thick turret exposed. The road ahead was turned into a 400-meter killing funnel. To ensure they wouldn't run out of teeth, Kolobanov ordered a double load of ammunition packed into the hull, 100 rounds of 76mm shells. The first shot. In the dead of the afternoon, the scouts arrived. German motorcycle infantry zipped straight through the crossroads, completely oblivious to the hidden giant. Kolobanov ordered his crew to hold their breath. He was waiting for the heavy armor. Minutes later, a massive armored column filled the viewport. Popular legend often states these were heavy Panzer IIIs, but wartime records reveal they were primarily lightweight Panzer 38 tanks and armored half-tracks. Yet, their sheer numbers were enough to flatten any standard defense. As the lead German tank rolled directly into the crosshairs of the gun sight, Kolobanov shouted the command, "Fire!" Senior Sergeant Andrei Yusov, an elite, veteran gunner, squeezed the trigger. A thunderous roar shattered the countryside. The lead panzer instantly erupted into a ball of fire, stalling dead in its tracks. In the ensuing chaos, the Germans assumed they had struck a landmine and halted the column. Sensing the hesitation, Yusov fired a second shell flying down the line, obliterating the rear vehicle. The trap was sprung. The German column was hopelessly pinned on a single, narrow road blocked by fire in the front, trapped by wreckage in the back, and surrounded on both sides by sinking swampland. A crucible of steel. Realizing where the ambush was coming from, dozens of German tank hulls swiveled and unleashed a localized apocalypse on Kolobanov's position. The uneven duel lasted for over an hour. Nearly 140 German shells violently slammed into the KV-1. Inside the steel hull, the environment turned into a living hell. The concussive force of the impacts was so intense that microscopic steel splinters flaked off the inner armor, peppering the faces and hands of the crew. The deafening din felt like a sledgehammer continuously beating against their skulls. The air grew thick, choking and black with cordite smoke, and the 76mm gun barrel became so intensely hot that its protective green paint completely peeled and flaked away. Then, a direct hit jammed the KV-1's turret ring, freezing the gun in place. This is where the sheer genius of the driver, Senior Sergeant Nikolai Nikiforov, saved the day. With incredible coordination, Nikiforov gunned the engine and masterfully steered the entire 4 5-ton tank left and right, manually aligning the whole vehicle so Yusov could keep aiming and firing. Every time the Soviet 76mm gun barked, another German vehicle was reduced to scrap metal. When the Germans frantically towed up their towed 50mm Pak 38 anti-tank guns to the tree line, Yusov quickly switched to high-explosive H shells, wiping out the anti-tank crews before they could zero in on his position. Separating history from legend. When the smoke finally cleared, the surviving German forces beat a chaotic retreat. Left behind on the shattered road were 22 destroyed German tanks and armored vehicles, all systematically picked apart by Kolobanov's lone tank, which had expended 98 of its 100 shells. In total that day, Kolobanov's company of 5 tanks claimed 43 German vehicles, successfully shattering the 8th Panzer Division's drive toward Leningrad. Despite executing one of the most statistically impossible and brilliant tactical defensive stands in armored history, Zinoviy Kolobanov was never awarded the title of Hero of the Soviet Union. Decades later, historians uncovered why. It wasn't due to a lack of proof, but a black mark on his military record from the Winter War with Finland, where he had been politically disciplined for fraternizing with the enemy. Instead, he was given the lesser, though still prestigious, Order of Lenin. The ambush at Voiskovitsy was more than just a testament to the unyielding thickness of Soviet steel. It remains a legendary masterclass in tactical patience, mechanical synergy, and the unbreakable resolve of a handful of men standing directly in the doorway of an empire.